Yes, guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. We are back with another game week review. Game week 10 has seen so much action, some surprise results. We're going to review that. We're going to look ahead to game week 11. We're going to talk about Big Man, knowing he's not here, because we can do that on Mondays. And we're going to always look forward. Dean, how are you, my friend? All the way over in San Diego.
How am I? Not very good, I don't reckon. I don't like this game anymore, mate. Driving me mad. The unpredictability of it is driving me mad.
No.
I thought, it's just been a slow wane the last few weeks, and I'm just like, what do I even do at this point? Like, when do I use this wild card that I've got in my pocket? Like, I want to bring my season back to life, but even on a wild card, I'm quite scared to do it because my actual team right now doesn't even look that bad for next week. Like, that's my biggest problem. Every week I'm like, it doesn't look too bad. I was like, too bad, it's not fun, is it? Like, but I can't get the guaranteed guys into the team at the right times because you suddenly look
Timing
at the
is
fixture
everything.
and you're like, I don't like this fixture or that fixture. So, yeah, I'm on 40 points at the moment for this week.
Is that above average or not? What's the average this week so far?
34. That's how bad this game week is.
I knew it was a low one. Although you don't have Burmo, which a lot do.
I don't have Burmo. I made
anyone tonight.
My gamble, I got Robinson, but
nice.
My gamble of putting Dibbling in instead of Rodgers has cost me 9 points.
Oh, that's a big gamble, isn't it?
Such a big gamble. Like,
I don't mind that punt either. Like, it was pretty much a coin toss, that one. Just going to charge my laptop. I'll be back in a sec. I'll turn the plug on.
Yeah, you crack on. Get your comments in, everyone. Let us know what you made of the weekend's action, what your scores were as well. We're always interested to know what your scores are. Ingrid keeps writing, De Bruyne is back.
I mean, he's travelled, but he was also on the bench at the weekend and didn't come on. So, yeah, he might get some minutes.
That just tells you where he is, isn't it? They're losing to Bournemouth. And Haaland doesn't, and De Bruyne doesn't come on. That's how.
Was he just named to make up the numbers? If you can't put him on,
I think it's to like give everyone encouragement, and like Pep doesn't really put kids on the bench for the sake of it.
No,
so we'd rather have De Bruyne around the place.
Yeah,
I personally think we're in De Bruyne's last days anyway at Man City. Like, how possibly can they give him a new contract when he misses so many games?
I feel like he's always had some injury doubts, but last season especially was bad. Was it last season where he barely played, or was it the year before that? I think it was last season.
Last season, and he came back, obviously, and then started this season well, and then disappears again. So, it's not looking good for De Bruyne. I certainly wouldn't be considering in this game at the moment. I captained Haaland. That obviously didn't go well. He could.
Did you see the last minute? The last minute, that header. And then, mate, I've got Foden. It was Foden that put the ball in the last minute for that Haaland header.
Was it? Yeah. I mean,
the combination there would that I worked out. I woke up in the middle of the night in hot sweat. I worked out if that ball goes in, that's a 15-point goal for me because I was like, Haaland gets 6 for the goal because 4 plus 2 bonus points, double to 12, and then Foden gets the assist. That's 3. That's 15 points for that one for like a couple of extra inches over the line. The fine margins in FPL can kill you.
Definitely. I did find out a little bit more about Foden because we were talking about him the other day, weren't we? I don't want to go into it too much because I do think these things are a bit more personal, but I think basically Foden has struggled to deal with the fact that he wasn't really accepted as player of the year last season, and then he got a lot of stick during the Euros, and I think he's just found it really difficult to get his mojo back, basically. And I think they're just trying to help him through that. So, a bit sad, really, isn't it?
What? So it's like a bit. So genuinely, like
I think genuinely just a bit low from like the public perception of him based on the levels that he hit, and just not being accepted. I'd say is probably the best word. Best way to put it.
English players a lot like suffer from bad press in major tournaments if they don't deliver, and he went into a major tournament off like player of the season, and many thought you would see Man City Foden for England, and we went and watched 6 or 7 England games where he didn't have a single goal or an assist.
Yeah, and obviously you're going to get criticism on the back of that, and you're going to have fans, especially online, digging you out. I don't know if Foden uses social media. I don't think anyone in his position should be using social media, to be honest. If I was a footballer, there's absolutely no chance I'd be online. Like, absolutely no way. Not until my career was over and I needed a new one to make a few quid.
You can sell those cannabis gummies if you need to when you're retired.
Yeah. But yeah, so for Foden, I think he's just struggling a bit to get back to where he was at. And even in this game, it was that one he stuck past the post.
So close.
In moments like that, you're like, you just want it. I wouldn't want to go in for him, to be honest. I just want him to get back to the old Foden. But yeah, look, Haaland could easily have had at least one goal here. But on the flip side of it, Bournemouth could have scored 4, 5.
But they had higher XG than Man City, even with that big Haaland chance. Like, Man City are losing the XG battle, which you just never see. You don't see Man City lose XG battles. They're that good. So for Bournemouth to have like 20 odd shots, like that's a huge weakness. I mean, if someone like Haaland, maybe he's not a sell yet, but are the other City players sells? Like, is Foden a sell? Because De Bruyne could be back. De Bruyne could get 60 minutes at the weekend versus Brighton, couldn't he? Knowing he's now back in the squad. If he gets 28 in the week, he could get 60 on Saturday, Sunday.
Could be, potentially. I mean, I wouldn't be putting my house on it. Difficult. I mean, I've still got Rico Lewis, still got Haaland. I'm not looking to add anyone to that. I'll probably just leave it as it is right now. Obviously, Rico didn't play at the weekend. We've said a million times, like at some point, Rico Lewis isn't going to be in the starting lineup. It's fine. Kyle Walker obviously wasn't very good. So Kyle Walker's not going to be like a go-to guy now for Pep Guardiola because his best years are behind him. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Let's give Bournemouth some credit, mate.
Yeah.
They're the real deal. They've just seen off Man City, deserve to. They beat Arsenal 2-0. Even if you consider there was that Liverpool game, they lost it 3-0. So you're like, okay, we can't really trust them. In that game, Liverpool had 20 shots, Bournemouth had 19. Wow. I know, like, you've still got to score them, but like, Bournemouth are a real deal under Iraola. I think they'll do a good job to keep hold of him beyond this season, if I'm totally honest. And on Friday, I did warn people, like people like, oh, should I get rid of Semenyo? I was like, I don't think I would be benching Semenyo. I know I made a mistake by benching Rodgers. I completely accept that.
Well, you said go Semenyo. You said to big man, keep Semenyo. Because I said keep Rodgers.
So
they both got big points, but
I mean they're both good picks, aren't they? At the end of the day, but if I wild card, I think I want Semenyo.
And their fixtures are good, Bournemouth. Like, when you look at their run, like it's a really good run. Like Semenyo had 4 shots in the box. 4 shots in the box against a team like Man City. Like, they're impressive shot numbers, aren't they? Because before his goal, you see the chance to go, he should have scored. And I think back to the Arsenal game, only a couple of games ago, where he missed 2 sitters. Like, he is getting in the positions. He's definitely their talisman.
I think you have to consider the positions they get in. Of course, sometimes they're going to miss them. Semenyo, there was that game when Chelsea, maybe, when he stuck one over the bar that he should have scored. I can't remember who it was against.
Arsenal. I think it
was Arsenal. Yeah. So, yeah, that's just part and parcel of football. We've got to accept it. And to talk about loyalty to players in FPL and to talk about patience, Dom Solanke is the absolute, guy that you're looking at right now as the kind of showpiece of that kind of way of thinking. 16 points at the weekend. When I started watching the game and, I got up a bit as the game had already started, and I woke up and I see that Rodgers has scored, Villa 1-0 up. I'm like so annoyed, but I'm like, okay, let's see what can happen here. And Tottenham are obviously like a great second half team. They are great at comebacks. I don't know that this trend of consistently going behind is something that is sustainable, but they keep doing it. And Solanke, I like him because he's kind of just a no frills attacker. He does what an old number 9 used to do. He's great at pressing. He keeps things simple. Lovely little link up play and touches outside of the box. And then you want your main man just being inside that box. And he's always there. He's always like, okay, recently we've had
busting a gut to get there, isn't he?
Yeah,
because he's often having to run from the halfway line where he's had some brilliant good hold-up play. But
that's it. So people
getting on the end of the crosses.
Heat map and stuff, and they're like, well, he's dropping deeper and deeper, and he's starting to be like, a bit like what Kane was doing. And it's not really that, I don't think, because you're always seeing, especially on the follow-ups and stuff, Solanke's so hungry to get in there and get on the end of them. So I'm glad I stuck with him. Obviously, Ipswich next for Tottenham at home. I think in midweek in the Europa League, Galatasaray away. I mean, I'll be amazed if Tottenham put out a strong team for that one.
Is it Fenerbahce or Galatasaray?
Galatasaray.
Is it? I've just said Fenerbahce in my pre-recorded video. Damn.
Yeah, no, they've already. I think they already played Fenerbahce, didn't they?
They did, didn't they? Yeah.
I think so. But they've got Galatasaray this week because it's kind of that welcome to hell thing.
Yeah.
Is Osimhen play for Galatasaray?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So they're up against Osimhen.
And Dries Mertens. It's like the old Napoli.
Oh yeah, they've got a real throwback team, haven't they?
Yeah. And does Wilf Zaha get in the 11? Or did he go out on loan somewhere in France? Wilf Zaha?
He had some issue or something, didn't he, when he was there? But
it's United that play Fenerbahce. Yes.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Ferencváros that Spurs played. That's it, Mark. Well done. Yeah, I knew they'd played. Sorry, I'm getting.
The chat are so knowledgeable, aren't they?
Really
you can make one
here.
slip up, and the chasers are just bang on it.
They should be hosting the show. I've told them this in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, Mark's always on it. I love Mark's updates.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Tottenham do have Galatasaray away, and I don't think they send some of their big hitters to that game, like Son. I can't see him playing. Obviously, Tottenham have got a little bit of a dilemma here going forward because Son obviously is having his minutes managed, getting taken off from 55 minutes.
He wasn't happy though, was he?
He wasn't happy, but that's just he's got to accept that Tottenham absolutely are not taking any risks with him right now.
Yeah.
Richarlison comes on, does one good thing and gets injured.
Poor bloke.
Honestly, can't catch a break. And Werner's not 100%. He was on the bench at the weekend, but there was no plan for him to actually come on in that game. He was kind of just
Odegaard as well.
Make up numbers. Odegaard's not there. So
Mickey Moore. Is it Mikey Moore or Mickey Moore? He'll probably start in the week.
He's got an opportunity for sure. There's a possibility that Werner ends up playing. I mean, obviously Galatasaray is a tough place to just go and throw kids into the fixture. So I think they'll have to be a little bit cautious.
I hope Solanke gets a bit of a break though. Like I genuinely, if I see Solanke gets a break, I think he'll travel. I'd love to see. I don't think Postecoglou's got a big enough squad to say stay at home. I think if they're not starting, he still puts them on the bench. Yet Chelsea can go, you're not travelling. Like Chelsea went to Athens the other day. Palmer's not even in the squad. We know he's not in the group stages, but players like Nicholas Jackson didn't travel to Athens. It was brilliant. I want Dom Solanke. If he doesn't travel on Thursday, he's my captain.
Yeah.
He's my captain.
I think Tottenham can actually afford to lose this game. Like, given the format, given the way they've started in the Europa League.
I've not been tracking it. Are they really comfortable then?
They're pretty comfortable so far in the results that they've had. And the games that are upcoming, they've got Roma, which is a difficult one, but it's at home, so they'll win that. There's nothing really to be concerned about. They can lose this game, to be honest with you. Right. It doesn't actually matter. So I'm not saying they're going to throw the game, but it might not be one that they absolutely have to prioritise. And looking at that Ipswich game at the weekend, obviously a massive opportunity. I've got a feeling James Maddison starts against Ipswich as well.
Do you reckon he goes with Mads and Kulu because they've got 70% of the ball? And it's like, we cannot play them both in games where it's really competitive in the middle of the park. But and we've seen it's not the right balance. But if you're going to have 70% possession, you can risk it. You can play them both.
These are the only games you're going to see it, I think. But I think that there's definitely a possibility that Madders does come back in for that one. Sarr was obviously brilliant for Tottenham.
Hard to bench Sarr though, isn't it? Hard to bench Sarr because you can't play Mads Kulu and Sarr. It'd have to be Mads Kulu and Bentancur or Mads Kulu and Basuma. Yeah. So Sarr's feels like he is undroppable by his performance, but
Mads is Mads. But
feels like he is undroppable.
Oh, sorry, my phone just started playing out loud. I was like, why is Gianni sound like he's in the room somewhere? I just realised that I just opened up the YouTube to see how many people were in the chat, and I was going to mention it and just started you talking. That really threw me.
It's funny hearing the delay because there's clearly like a 5-10 second delay.
Yeah, there's like a 10-second delay. Anyway, 200 in the chat right now. Do give us a like and subscribe if you can. And don't forget, we've also got a members zone, which you can join. There are 2 tiers, the highest of which means you jump into our WhatsApp group and get to chat FPL 24/7. It's also quite good, the WhatsApp. When I wake up late, obviously here in San Diego, that first game of the day is almost impossible to catch. It's got to be a really good game to have me getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So sometimes I wake up at 6:30, which is a lay-in for me. I just check all the messages and you can catch up on who's made the squad, who hasn't made the squad. And it's my own little feed of information on FPL.
I like that. Are you enjoying the early starts? Because since Guy's been born, I've been sort of a real early start person, and I wake at like, I don't know, between 5 and 6 every morning. I go to bed really early, and I quite like that. But that routine, I'm really enjoying. Like, I hope to keep that routine for a while, even when Guy is sleeping well.
It just becomes natural, yeah. Like even now, when our kids sleep they have a lie-in until like 7. You always tend to be awake by that time anyway. I do like it, yeah. And having the games early out here is great because you can just crack on with your day once they're all out the way. And actually, because the kids just tend to like take it slow in the mornings and stuff, generally, it means that I can stick the telly on in here and just because they have all the games obviously are on out here. So I have like the Goal Rush show on one screen and have a main game on the TV.
Nice.
And I'm getting all of it. And legally as well, which
I like that. Oh, good. Good to see so many comments in the chat. We did have someone, I think it was Eddie, who's one of our chasers, say he's deciding if he wants to spend the €3 a month for extra content. Eddie, if you want to be a channel member, completely up to you, absolutely no pressure. But yeah, that €3 a month, you do get some extra content. Dean and I do a video pretty much every week, but really it's a way of just showing your support for the channel if you want to. Yeah. So completely guilt-free if you want to, but no pressure.
Yeah, the WhatsApp, whatsoever. I think personally the WhatsApp is the best thing about joining because like we're building a good community in there. It's a good group of people that you'll like from here. And also, in terms of the videos, like if you want us to do an extra video in the week and you're a member, like absolutely, that'll be helpful for us because we will know what you want to hear about. So yeah, jump in, Eddie, give it a go. If you don't like it, you can leave.
Yeah. Shiraz says, again, one of our chasers, Gianni, can you talk a little bit about FPL Green Room? I loved it. We'll move on to the reviewing the games, but just to give a shout out, I want to do this because we make a huge amount of new follows from Holly Shand, who every Friday gives us a great raid. And her raid this week was Salah captain. And I was like, Holly, that's brave. So fair play because she sold Haaland, got Salah in and captained him, just like Big Man did. So well played to those guys. But Holly runs a podcast called FPL Green Room, which I'm also on. And they're 6 subscribers short of 500. So if you want to go and subscribe, I would love FPL Green Room to get to another six of you to go on FPL Green Room and just click subscribe. We do hour-long pods every Monday. But yeah, let's move on with the weekend just gone. And let's talk a little bit about Mo Salah and Big Man, because I thought that was really gutsy from Big Man and Holly to sell a player like Haaland. I still don't think Haaland is a sell, and I would not advise anyone do it now. But bringing in Mo Salah, he's just inevitable. He just he didn't have a great game. I would say a Stupiñán's defending, if you were to give 20 Premier League starting left backs Mo Salah in that position, I reckon a Stupiñán is one of 2 or 3 that allows him to shoot that easily. That was absolutely schoolboy. And what's really funny is those that went Salah also went Cunha mostly. And Cunha also benefited from absolutely howler Sunday League defending from Chalobah, who under a high ball misjudged it to the point where Cunha is just has a clear run and an easy assist. So if you went Salah and Cunha, which most of the people I compete with, other content creators, went, I'm not bitter at all, but you just benefited from 2 massive, absolute clangers defensively. But yeah, clearly I'm carrying some hate there. So I need to
mate. No, you're right, though. I mean, Estupiñán's body shape was just all wrong in that moment. And, in the Premier League, it's an unforgiving place and you are dead at that moment as soon as Salah cuts inside. It's his favourite type of goal. We all know that.
It's so obvious. It's choreographed.
It absolutely blows it apart into the back of the net. Like, it's a great strike, don't get me wrong. Like, I was like, whoa! Like, that was a mad 5 minutes for Liverpool. Like, inside Anfield, but absolutely rocking. It looked great fun. And when that one hits the top corner, the cop just goes absolutely mental.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Chalobah as well. I mean, absolute... What is he even doing? Palace make a lot of these errors, don't they? And Palace are actually a good team to watch because they're good sometimes in possession, but they also make a lot of mistakes. And they don't press very well. And that leads to quite often entertaining games. So that was an entertaining one, but Wolves still bottom of the league, mate. That's a strange one.
And they were lucky at the end because that Mateta goal very easily could be given. Absolutely. And then Wolves again. If Wolves lose that 3-2, Gary O'Neill could be going into the international break getting the sack.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, this is the spell. Everyone's talking about this spell of fixtures for Wolves. And that was the first one. They've drawn 2-2 at home to Crystal Palace, who were 17th in the league. So that's not good.
Wolves have got great fixtures. Let's buy Aït-Nouri. It's like, no, Wolves is the good fixture for all those other teams. So Aït-Nouri's going to not keep clean sheet. Wolves is the good fixture.
That is true. Yeah.
So I don't fully get things like, I don't mind Aït-Nouri, Cunha, and Strand Larsen. I might buy one of them this week, but I don't quite get the like, oh, it's an amazing run of fixtures for all these other teams in and around Wolves. Yeah, but they're higher than Wolves, and they've also got an amazing fixture because they play Wolves.
Yeah, absolutely. Phil was in the Kop on Saturday. He said it was scenes when Mo scores. Oh, mate, I bet it was. Like, I'm obviously not a Liverpool fan at all, but as soon as I heard the noise and could see the scene, I was like, those are the moments. That 5-minute period, you got back in the game. It got a little, even in the few minutes in between the two goals, there was a moment where there was a bit of a clash between players and there was a bit of nastiness. And then Brighton go on the attack. Someone mishits a shot, comes away, and then Curtis Jones starts charging away. And yeah, that's always fun. Mark says Wharton is Palace's only decent presser. You're possibly right with that one. It's just a very bizarre system that they've got running at the moment. And Mark also says Lopetegui to get sacked first. Certainly under a lot of pressure. West Ham are not a good team.
Any rumours, Dean, with that?
Massively, yeah.
But in terms of who might come in, because I feel like you've always been quite on it with West Ham news.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one because Sullivan appointed Lopetegui and does not want to be wrong. And
stubborn owner.
He's having to accept at the moment that it's the first time, basically, this result of the weekend was the first time I'm told that Sullivan is like, okay, this isn't going well. Maybe I've got this wrong. Maybe he's not the man. But there's not a million people out there you can go for. Edin Terzic is a reasonable candidate. He is somebody that they thought about previously.
Moyes 3.0. Moyes for the third time.
Honestly, who knows?
Graham Potter, a few saying in the chat.
Graham Potter is one of the names that's being linked at the moment. But they've got no structure to them, West Ham. You've got no idea what they're actually trying to build here. They've lost all discipline in the squad. Another red card here. Kudus is already out at the moment. Now you've got Alvarez out for the next game as well.
Yeah.
I think they've got Everton at home, haven't they? But
yeah, Everton at home, because I've got a comment today on my YouTube video saying you can't sell Calvert-Lewin. He's got West Ham, and I'm like, dude, he had Southampton last week. I'm selling Calvert-Lewin.
I don't even care if he scores this week. I do not want to see that geezer anymore. Yeah. I'm fed up with him.
Mate, do you reckon there's a risk he doesn't even start because Beto is coming on and getting big chances now? Beto hit the bar. He scored in the last game. Does Dyche maybe give Beto a chance?
You think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the way Calvert was playing, I'd consider bringing him out the firing line for a couple of games.
Got taken off earlier as well, so I've got no interest anymore in Calvert-Lewin. I know he was my punt at the start of the season. I should have got rid of him a lot earlier than I am, but
you got some goals from him, which
got a couple of goals, so that gave me something. Everton fans don't rate Beto. Yeah,
I like him. I thought he was good in Italy. I think he's a big lump, but he's got something about him.
You might as well give him a chance. In a moment like this, you might as well give him an opportunity. If it doesn't work out, then you can get rid of him in January. To be honest, Beto is worse, as Joseph. Okay, maybe I'm missing something.
We should talk about DCL replacements because we're probably both shopping for one. Where do you think? Because Strand Larsen and Cunha, there's 1.1 between them. You could go either direction if you've got the money to get up to a Cunha. And Chris Wood needs consideration again. Like we keep saying, we've missed the boat, but he still scores.
Totally disrespected this geezer, haven't I? I keep saying he's not a good footballer. He must be quite a good footballer to score this many goals consistently. Forest are just really good at what they're doing. Yeah. Nuno is just managing that team so well through moments in matches, and his in-game management is really good. Yeah. And he's not afraid to make big decisions of leaving someone out so that they're still in a strong position and then put on a finisher to go and try and win the game.
Yeah, like Elliot Anderson. He benched him after playing the most amazing month of football, but he came on and got an assist.
He doesn't care about that. He's like, no, this will work. And he's right. Like, that's how you should be setting out your team. So, yeah, I mean, Newcastle at home is not the best fixture in the world for Nottingham Forest, but they're riding high. Third, are they going to finish third in the Premier League? Of course they're not. But at the moment, they're one of the few teams that seem to have a consistent pattern and trend of form and results. So, I mean,
their defence is also rock solid. Like
their defence is actually better than Chris Wood, to be honest. I mean, what they're building, their defensive partnership, and Murillo is obviously somebody that we know is going to end up at a better club, should I say, at some point soon. A lot of teams already looking at him, but
Not
across
surprised.
the back, they're all good, and you've got Sells, and I'm sure you're very happy to have that. I got David Raya. I haven't had a clean sheet for about 7 weeks.
Yeah, Sells has been amazing. Like, he's been my one good pick on wildcard where I absolutely nailed it. Like, he's outperformed Flecken. I think I tweeted today, since Game Week 6 wildcard, Sells is on like 27, Flecken's on 9, and Raya's probably on similar to like 9. Like, it's a big swing. I'd say Milenkovic, Sean's just put, was some signing. I would argue Milenkovic was signing of the summer. I mean, pure value, because they paid like around 10 million maybe for him. It was cheap. I remember thinking, why have Fiorentina let him go for that? Like, he was a starter. He wasn't like a squad player. He was a starter for Fiorentina who had a really good season. I don't understand why he was just let go, because at his age, with his ability, he's a great asset. Like, that back four is now very good. It's got everything. Aina and Moreno obviously great at fullbacks, but Murillo and Milenkovic is a proper good centre-back pairing.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you what, like, even Brighton have got Man City at home next week. I'm not put off by signing a Brighton forward at this point.
Yeah. Mitoma's looking sharp on the left.
Mitoma's looking better.
Welbeck
back
soon.
Pedro's coming back. Evan Ferguson's hanging around the place. Like,
yeah.
I wonder when he comes back into the fold. At the moment, he's just seeming like he's having to be patient, but it's an interesting one. But I know I'm supposed to be patient and wait for this next game week to get out of the way before I play my wild card in 12. But there's a massive temptation to just press that button and just blow this team up.
Mate, I did notice on the average position maps I go through every Sunday, just look at the Saturday games, Kadioglu again played on the right of the midfield.
Yeah.
So he is listed as a 4.5 million defender, and obviously he scores, so everyone looks at him, but he is playing on the right wing. I don't know if that stays, because it might be, Minter's going to come back in and Adingra's still around and Solly March will be back fit soon. But Kadioglu is an interesting one because he is Mr. Versatile. If you go on Kadioglu's transfer market and look at where he's played in his career, he's played equal minutes at like left back, right back, centre mid, left wing, right wing. He is a proper utility man. So if Hurst sees him as a wide man, like 4.5 defender, Mark said he had Kadioglu on his bench. Definitely one to monitor when Brighton's fixes turn, because you get all those clean sheet points.
Yeah, absolutely. That is true. I think he had a chance to score another one against Liverpool as well.
Yeah, he did. He blasted it over, didn't he?
Yes, blasted it over. Yeah.
Proper over.
So, so obviously a surprising name to see on the score sheet in a game like that, but maybe he is somebody we should have our eyes on.
There's loads of good cheap defenders. Like Michael just mentioned Kirkes. He's now 4.4. Like, Kirkes is a good option at left back. Did you mention on this show that clubs like Liverpool have looked at him?
They have looked at him, yeah. Man United and Liverpool have both looked at Kirkes before. So I see, obviously, both those two are going to be in for a left back.
He had a great game. Great game.
In January, possibly in summer. But yeah, he did have a good game. Yeah, you're right.
And then Lewis Hall, again, we spoke about him at the weekend. So you said he'll be in the England squad soon. Like, a really good performance again at the weekend to beat Arsenal. He's 4.3. So he's dropped like a couple. So we're now getting the benefit of like players like Matty Cash.
Hall is a good pick,
4.3. Simicast has dropped in price. He's now the starting left back. Begs the question, what do you do with a Trent? Do you swap in front of these cheapos? Because Trent is not performing well, is he? I've got Trent in my team, Dean. Should I be selling him?
Yeah, definitely should, shouldn't you? I mean, what's the point, really, when you've got all these players that are going to save you at least a couple of million? There's loads of players that at the moment I think that you could bank on. I mean, obviously Liverpool top of the league, and he's always going to be part of it. So there's that. But yeah, Hall is definitely somebody's. I think Newcastle have turned a corner, haven't they? I mean, it's a brilliant goal. Like, the first time cross from Gordon's unbelievable, and Isak finally doing what Isak's supposed to be doing after everybody's now ditched him in the game. So a bit frustrating for us all, but this is part of the game. Like, Isak's never going to go a whole season without scoring goals. Like, it's going to happen at some point. And
the signs were there. He was getting the chance. Like, even against Chelsea in the FL Cup, he had a good game.
Yeah, I've stuck up for him loads in the season. Be like, it's so close. It's so close. But I ended up jumping off him and going on Solanke, obviously. And that's fine. Like, Solanke's now got 4 goals and 8 starts in the Premier League. I'm happy with that. But come the end of the season, is there going to be a lot between Isak and Solanke? Probably not. Yeah. And Solanke is the cheaper asset. It'll be interesting. After Ipswich, Solanke is Man City. And then I think Isak has a couple of good games. So some might make that switch back. We should talk about some of the guys that got 3 bonus points and look at our teams.
we like to do bonus piece every week, but I've just plucked out a couple of players that I don't like to, like, I'm not going to go, oh, Salah, Haaland type players, because we all have them. So a couple of players that deserve the discussion because they're a good FPL pick and they got the bonus points. So Aina obviously got his goal, but even outside of the goal, he's doing well in all the BPS stuff. Like, he gets an interception, he gets 4 tackles, a key pass. He clocks over 90% or around 90% pass completion with 31 out of 34. Really good performance. Like, that Forest defence, if you're buying one of them, I do still prefer the centre-backs, because it should be noted Nuno's fullbacks at Forest aren't Nuno's fullbacks at Wolves. At Wolves, they were wing-backs and they were always really high.
Yeah.
Aina and Moreno, they got attacking returns in this game against 10 men, but usually they don't do a huge amount going forward. Who would you pick, Dean? They're all 4.5-ish million. I'd think probably go Milenkovic, just because he's going to be such a goal threat at set pieces.
Yeah, Milenkovic. But I do like Aina, I have to say. And at West Ham, they were looking at signing Aina, and I bet they wish they had now.
Wow.
He went past them like they weren't even there. That was a bit embarrassing. But this is the thing about Nottingham Forest, isn't it? I mean, they got the second or third best defence in the league at the moment. And the fact that every single week they are underestimated is a real positive in at least having one of their assets, because they are producing results. They are pretty consistent in terms of their performance levels. So even when the results start to drop away, I still feel like we'll be in a situation where you're not too worried about this defense suddenly like caving in. I think that
the goals will dry up, but the defense will still keep clean sheets.
I think
they'll just get some 0-0 games.
So yeah,
I agree.
I think
Nuno, boring.
That's the good thing about the team build for me. So I like that, and yeah, I mean 3 bonus. I mean, if you add him this week, you're absolutely laughing.
It's like a 15-pointer. Did you see Olivia Bazaglo, a friend of the show? You've seen her on the show, a lot of you chasers. She was at the game reporting for the Premier League, and she said to Aina, who she probably knows from his Chelsea days, and she said her first words to him were, "I didn't know you had that in your locker." And she's brilliant. She's such a good talker of footballers, but not many reporters could ask a footballer that. But she says it with such fun, and she probably knows him anyway. He obviously takes it well and sort of laughs it. And then she comes in with the second question being like, "I just heard Callum, Hudson-Odoi, go into the dressing room and say the exact same words to you. I didn't know you had that in your locker, bro." So she sort of repeated it. But I thought it was just hilarious. Like, he took it so well. He seems like a proper nice bloke. And he was there sipping his Ribena. He had a Ribena cart and he put it up like to his mouth. So you can see he's like doing an interview to the Premier League with his Ribena cart. And I was like, is this some kind of weird sponsorship deal?
I wonder what people are talking about. I haven't seen that. I saw people saying Ribena man. I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's the only reason I saw the clip. I think it was doing the rounds because the Ribena.
Right.
It was definitely Liv's voice. And I was like,
I used to love Ribena. I used to be obsessed with that drink. I used to have it hot as well. Like, I'd have it like cold and day. And when people would have like a cup of tea, I'd have a hot Ribena. Oh, it's so nice. If you're ill,
you put it in the microwave.
You have a hot Ribena.
Oh, just hot water.
Or boiling water into it. Yeah. It's really nice.
There we go.
Bad for your teeth, says Mark. Absolutely, it's bad for your teeth. I agree with that.
Let's move on to another bonus beast, Solanke. We haven't seen him much, but he did clock 1.66 XG, or maybe XGI. Might be XGI. I think it was XG, but still, like, good numbers. He was getting shots before his goals. I tuned in at like 60, 70 minutes, Dean, and I think it was 1-0 Villa. I was like, another blank from Solanke. What a load of rubbish. Just goes to show, like, watch a game of football in the last 20 minutes, half an hour, you can go from being an absolute 2-pointer to a 16-pointer. So keep the faith, especially when it's a team like Spurs. They are fun, aren't they?
They are fun, mate. And, they are, particularly at home, trustworthy. So that's that, in terms of home form, they're right up there.
Ipswich and Fulham, the next 2. We can see the fixtures on screen. What do you think of that? Is that a captain? Are you going to captain Solanke? I think I will.
But I am keeping him. And, there was a moment in that game where I was thinking, like, why am I picking Solanke, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as he scores the goal, you start changing your thinking a bit. Then he gets another goal. You're like, oh, what a fantastic get. Then he gets the assist for the Madison free kick. And you're like, whoa, what a pick.
FPL assist.
Luke says, Gianni, sorry, you told me keep Solanke and I didn't listen. Solanke's just works in this Spurs system. He makes the system work, to be honest. Like, he does start the press. He is hard working. He is like no nonsense, really. He's not got well, he's obviously got an ego because he's a Premier League footballer, but he's not like, it's not a problem. And now that Sonny's coming back into the fray, that's going to help massively. Because if you think, even on the first goal that Brennan Johnson scored,
Solanke
would have scored that, right? I think he was going to score that.
Yeah. He gets a call, and Johnson's in a better position to take that. He was in a better position. If Johnson's not there, and he's invisible. There's no one in that space. Solanke chucks himself at that.
Absolutely. So Sonny's going to improve that output as well. I think Solanke is.
So why not captain against Ipswich? Because we've just said how reliable they are. I've said how good he is. He's got the standout fixture. We don't own Salah. Oh no, you do own Salah, I think. Yeah. But he's got Villa at home. Haaland's got Brighton away. Like
I know you're right. I mean, my problem
Let's do a poll. Who you captain? Early thoughts between Salah, Haaland, Solanke, and other. I think that's a really good game for him.
I'm being stubborn, basically, because I've said I'm sticking with Haaland all season as my captain, but that's not the right choice at the moment. I mean, Haaland is like on his.
He's going to get chances versus Brighton, though, isn't he?
He's going to get chances. I don't know if you watched the whole game. He couldn't walk for half of it. Yeah, he couldn't run. Yeah. Like I was in our WhatsApp group. People were like, "How's Haaland doing?" I was like, "I don't think he's going to get through this game." Like he already had a knock on one foot, and now they've just done him on the other ankle, and now he's limping around on both legs.
If he's winning, he comes off, doesn't he? If they're winning.
Yeah, he just had to stay on because they obviously have no other goal threat. And he was still obviously imposing, and he still could have scored right at the death. Jonathan says he thinks Haaland will do well against Brighton.
Yeah, we thought that against Southampton and whoever we played at the weekend.
But yeah, I mean, does Solanke outscore Haaland this weekend? He probably does, doesn't he?
That fixture's gold.
But then obviously what was that game a few weeks back when Tottenham scored 4 and he didn't get any of them? Like that puts me off.
Yeah, but then just gets 2 and they've scored 4 this time.
I know.
The minutes in the week are going to be key, aren't they? Let's see how Spurs line up. I want to see a big rotation for Spurs.
I hope he has
want to see a lot of their key.
I hope he has none.
Yeah, because that is a slight concern. Because a trip to Turkey is very different than a trip to France. Like a trip to France or Spain or Italy on a Wednesday night versus a trip to Turkey on a Thursday night. I think you can feel that as a Spurs team that aren't used to playing a huge amount in Europe. I think they could feel that. But let's see. We'll move on from Solanke then. 2. We've got one more to show you, and then we've got our teams to get through. Thank you to everyone in the chat. If you want to show your support for the stream, guys, we would love a like. We've got 300 of you watching right now. Isak, we mentioned him earlier, but didn't do much other than the goal, has to be said, but he doesn't have to. If you're going to finish like that, and he is, where would you rank him, Dean, in terms of out-and-out number 9 and finishing ability in the league? I think he's probably second to Haaland, isn't he? In terms of out-and-out number 9s? And Havertz, Isak, I'm thinking of the sort of Watkins chasing
be there.
I think Isak's the best finisher of them all, other than Haaland, out the number 9s.
Yeah,
Chris Wood.
I think what you have to do is think if Isak became available now, who would want him? And everyone. I think everyone apart from Man City would be trying to sign him.
Liverpool would, do you reckon? Yeah, they would. Yeah.
I think it would certainly improve them. I think mainly you would be looking at Arsenal and Chelsea as the 2 candidates to actually sign Isak, and they both would love to.
It'd be amazing at Chelsea the way we play. If Nicholas Jackson's thriving, Isak would really thrive.
He would really be good. And obviously he still hasn't signed that new contract they want him to sign. So it's not beyond
is
the
he
realms.
not? Is their contract discussions still ongoing with Isak then?
Yeah, he's supposed to be signing a new deal, and it hasn't.
Gordon signed recently, did he?
Yeah, Gordon's been done. So Isak is the next priority, but they're still hopeful. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, if Newcastle don't qualify for Europe, he'll definitely leave. If they don't qualify for the Champions League, he might even leave because he's getting to that stage where he just needs to be at that level. So it'd be one to look at. I mean, it would be great for us as FPL players to have Isak at Arsenal or Chelsea, wouldn't it? As an option. I'm sure his value would go up a little bit, but that would be good. But yeah, a big weekend for Isak, and 13% of players allegedly sticking by him up to now. I'm not sure how many of those are still playing the game.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to know because I don't see anyone that's still got him personally.
And it's whilst the next 3 fixtures are green, we can see there, it's worth noting 2 are away. And I do look at teams like Newcastle and go, I back you at home. Like that West Ham fixture is great for him. But Forest and Crystal Palace are 2 tough away games for Newcastle. Like they don't score many on the road. And going to the City ground and going to Selhurst Park at the moment, they're 2 tough fixtures. Like I don't know if Isak's necessarily a buy, but I don't know. I could they're defending well. I think Lewis Hall got 2 bonus points, has to get a shout out, as Livramento the one. There's good value there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we see our points? Should we see our points today?
Yeah, let's do it.
See our points, because we've both got players in action tonight. Guys, we'll just check team news in 1 minute. But Dean, Rico Lewis came off the bench. How annoying was that?
Well, it was a bit, but I mean, I only had Todibo to come in anyway, so it didn't really make any difference. At first, I was like, oh, this might be okay if Todibo can do all right. And then as soon as it wasn't going well, I was like,
I had Mikalenko on a clean sheet and was livid because he was on 2 or 3 bonus points, Mikalenko. Fortunately, he conceded late on and he went from like 8 points to 2.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's a pain. Rogers, obviously, my big mistake of the week. Dibbling, get in the bin, mate. Buonanotte was unlucky again. Thought he could have scored. So that was
class, isn't he?
He's class. Yeah, I'm still going to keep him. I like him. Robinson's my only player playing tonight, so I need a Fulham clean sheet and a Robinson assist, and I'll be a little bit happier. All I care about is that Fulham beat Brentford because I don't like Brentford. But yeah, very, very average game. To be honest, I hadn't even looked at my points until today. It was literally one of those where it's like, I don't even need to look. I know I've had a bad week.
Robinson starts. Pleased to know. Tete starts. It's the back four you'd expect. Burge, Pereira. Reece Nelson gets a start instead of, I don't think Adama's in.
Adama's totally surprised me. Yeah,
that totally surprised
me. Let me just have a look at this.
Sander Burge DM again by himself, which worked the other day. So yeah, and the Brentford team looks pretty much unchanged. We've got Visser and Burmo, Lewis Potter, Damsgaard, Janelt, Norgard, Roslev, Pinnock, Collins, Van der Berg. So we could see Van der Berg again at left back, but Flecken also starts.
Interesting.
Probably as you'd expect, but from both teams, other than Reece Nelson.
Yeah, Reece Nelson's obviously actually a better footballer than Adama Traore, so that's definitely not a downgrade. So I'm happy to have Reece Nelson in the frame. We've got a lovely little Arsenal lineup there, haven't we? Reece Nelson, Emil Smith-Rowe, and Alex Iwobi all playing side by side tonight for Fulham. Keep this coming. Like, I'm ready to keep taking Arsenal cast-offs as much as you like, because
they're good Arsenal cast-off days.
They're lovely Arsenal cast-offs. Yeah. I'm not sure who we get next.
I was just thinking that. Who comes next? Are you going to get who's
Waneri?
Are you going to get Waneri on loan for a year? Yeah, or maybe you get Raheem Sterling. He can come across West London because
I don't really.
We'll pay on his wages.
I'll take Gabby Jesus. I'll take Gabby.
You've already got a Brazilian that can't hit a barn door up front.
Trust me, Gabby Jesus is better than Muniz. But yeah, this could be a fun game actually this evening. I know there won't be a lot of appetite outside of West London to get to a TV and watch Fulham against Brentford, but I'll certainly be watching it from 5,500 miles away.
Mate, I've got a Gabby Jesus story very quickly. I've not been around football club training grounds, right? But I have been to the Arsenal training ground once, and I saw Gabby Jesus in his socks. A ball rolled to him on the sort of corner of the area, right on the edge of the 18-yard box, but on the corner, on his left foot, in his socks. And the goal, we were doing these shots at a level aside goal, had a cutout in the top corner. We were doing like a top bin challenge. He found it first time with his left foot from the corner.
Mad.
And I was like, oh, you're actually a really good finisher. I've always given you stick. Like, we forget how good these players are when they've got time and space. Like, they're not on a football pitch. Like, the ability of these guys, including Gabby Jesus, who is clearly an elite finisher, to be at the level he plays at. But it's ridiculous, isn't it, when you can just go and do that?
Yeah, I think when you consider like people that you know in your general life to be good footballers, and then you actually go and see like a Premier League international footballer, it's just completely different world. Like, how good you have to be is just absolutely insane, and it is completely out of our reach. It really is. Like, I've only ever played with one player that got to the Premier League, and actually I didn't really expect it.
Did you not? Go on.
Jamie Mackie, who was playing for QPR. Like, he was a good player, but I never would have expected him to be able to get to the Premier League. Like, but he made it. I think he's one of those few players that makes it through determination, graft, persistence, constantly working on his technical ability. But he was always definitely a good player, and like probably the best player in our team.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have like watched him and be like, oh, he'll make it to the Premier League. Whereas I think because if you think these days, right, most people that play in the Premier League now are probably in an academy now by the time that they're 9.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think there's a stat something like 90% of the England team from the summer were in an academy by the age of 9.
There's not many Jamie Vardy stories now.
There's not many Jamie Vardy, Jamie Mackie stories out there where you suddenly are like 16, 17 and then start to, grow up in men's football and then get spotted and then move up and then move up and then move up. And to be honest, in 10 years, I'm not sure it will exist at all because I think it'll be gone from the game. Yeah. It's like even like Dylan's got a friend from England who went to his football practice. He's actually called Cristiano. And his dad was like, yeah, his dad was a bit much, but like he was like, you got to do this, you got to do that. Just signed for Chelsea, age 6.
Wow.
It's like 6.
Yeah.
He's 6. He's tiny as well, this kid. But he's got really good ball control and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Like that, okay.
Jamie just tweeted, he didn't expect you to have a YouTube channel either.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I bet he listens to Ranks FC.
I'm friends with Jamie Mackie. Don't worry, he's a great lad, and he was a very, very good footballer.
Like that. Dean, very quickly before we see my team, early thoughts, like plans that you may be a wild card, but you'll let us know in advance. So we can
honestly,
show it on
yeah.
Friday.
If I'm going to wild card, I've obviously got to be serious about it, and we need to do a lot of focus on it on Friday. The international break is obviously a bit scary because it could blow up within 1 week. So I should probably hold it till 12. But
think of the content we can do in the international break if you hold it, mate. We got a whole week. We got a whole week. We won't do streams through the 2 weeks, but we've got that whole week leading up. We can go big on wildcard game week 12. You got to save it for the sake of the channel.
It's true. Look, I'll be honest. Like I don't like Raya in goal anymore. Right? He's got Chelsea away as well, so I don't like that. I'd have to put Fabianski in goal. Calvert-Lewin, I don't want in my team anymore. Buonanotte's got Man United away.
Yeah, but you can bench him. I know you got bench Dibbling probably.
Yeah, I got bench Dibbling. Wolves away.
Just sell Calvert-Lewin. You're good. Just sell Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, maybe, but it's going to be another average week.
Stick Barco up top. I'd rather have Barco.
Barco is my best performing player this season.
Let's move on to my team. See how I'm looking. I do have Burmo to play tonight, but a lot do. I don't have Flecken, and a lot do. I would really like Fulham to score. I probably want Fulham to win, to be fair, just because I like them. Yeah, although actually, the more I learn about Brentford, I also like them. I'm 100% selling Dominic Calvert-Lewin this week. I'm not sure who I go to. I'm going to have money because I think there's a very good chance I sell Foden too. So if I sell Foden and Calvert-Lewin with my 2 free transfers, I've got 15.1 to spend. Wow. I am thinking, my early thoughts are probably Bruno. I do think, like we said, like we've been given big man stick for Bruno, who, by the way, fair play, stuck with him and he is coming good.
Finally got some points.
I don't think he was a good own a month or 3 weeks ago. I do think he's a good own now. Like they've just scored 5 against Leicester under Ruud van Nistelrooy. They play Leicester next. And then Amorim's first game in charge is Ipswich and Everton. Like those 3 games, you want a flat track bully, and Bruno is that. So I could easily go Foden out, Bruno in, Calvert-Lewin out, and then probably Cunha, but I might save money and go Strand Larsen.
Yeah, Cunha's probably the one. Or Wood is like I still think it's a massive oversight by all of us, but
I know I just can't get over the fact that I don't rate him.
I know, and this is the problem. This is what blurs our vision in this game, isn't it? When we just see someone, just don't rate them. Like I've had umpteen times with players in this game, or I'm stubborn, maybe both, and that's it. Like I don't pick them, and then I just end up drifting away. So now that I'm into the 1 million and somethings, I need to get that out of my head and just pick players that are consistently good.
Yeah. I'll tell you the other players I like who I could go to. Instead of Bruno, I could go Garnacho. He's a lot cheaper. I just worry about Garnacho's position under Amorim, knowing he doesn't. I'm intrigued to see if he fits into the 11. You'd think he does, but it might be him or Rashford, and he might just go with the local boy. And then I also think Brennan Johnson is a great punt if you're going short term just for the Ipswich game. But I think Bruno gives me good 3 fixtures. And then up front, something tells me Gakpo is a really good pick. Now he's first choice now, Gakpo, and after the international break, we know Diaz and Darwin won't start probably because I think twice already this season off the back of the South Americans slot has gone. I'm not going to start you, So Gakpo feels fairly nailed, but also because he's playing well and scoring. But yeah, there's options there. I'll let you know on Friday, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got the last 5 minutes of the chat. We could probably do a few questions if you want to stick a few in right now. Yes. What did you think of the game week generally, mate? How did you feel coming out of it? I mean, are you feeling happier now from where you were like 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah, I mean, I was really annoyed on Saturday because I went against Salah and had Haaland captain, and obviously Salah scored, and it's just the fact that Haaland's misses are coming from Foden chances. And it's like, boy, I own both, but fortunately, I got dug out by Morgan Rogers and Solanke, I guess. But it's still been a super frustrating season. I do think I've had terrible luck. Like every FPL manager doing badly can say that, but I know when I'm lucky, and I'll get lucky. But I know when I'm unlucky, and so far this season I've been unlucky. But this isn't a Crimea River, get your violin out, Gianni. I do think over 38 weeks it probably will balance itself out. So,
yeah. Eddie has Garnacho. Should he get Bruno in for McNeil and Watkins, Terrell, or Visser?
I'll tell you if you buy a membership, Eddie. You were the one that asked about the €3.
Yeah, give us your €3, Eddie.
All members get their questions answered. In fact, you'll see a load of member questions flooding in a minute.
That's true. I personally wouldn't like be going all in on Bruno and Man United right now. Like, if you've already got Garnacho and you go Bruno as well, like it's reasonably risky. Man United weren't very good at the weekend. Yeah, Bruno scored a penalty, and it's because Chelsea's goalkeeper is a bit of an idiot. Like, that was a silly penalty to give away. So, I don't know necessarily that's a good decision because McNeil continues to be one of the most important players in the game for his team, and they're playing against West Ham, who are absolutely on the floor. Really doesn't take a lot for McNeil to get points this week.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't think you need both. Thanks, Eddie. Genuinely, I always appreciate your comments. Isn't Darwin still banned from the internationals? Is he? Maybe he is.
He might be. Yeah, he might be. I honestly don't know.
He was the last break, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he might well be. Delap to Solanke or Rogers to Brennan. Walcott's.
So it's a short. This is a 1 week punt for Sally. I'd sell Delap. I don't think Brennan's got a tough fixture against Liverpool, but I don't know. Brennan might be injured. Rogers might be injured. See who gets what minutes in the week.
Yeah, I'd personally go for Solanke there. Best Saliba replacement.
Go to a cheapo. If you don't have a Nottingham Forest defender, just pick a Forest defender because they're amazing.
Yeah, that is true.
Should you get rid of Trent and put more money into? I think I'm giving Trent Brighton because I've got other fires. But if I was on wildcard, I don't think I'd have him in. But I think if you've got other fires, like I've got Calvert-Lewin, then you just get rid. I'd be selling Watkins, I think, Jonathan. I don't know if I'd be keeping him. He's got some tough games coming up, and there's a lot of good forwards at the minute.
Yeah, it's a massive defeat for Villa at the weekend. I was not expecting them to get battered like that. That's a big setback. Is Son worth a transfer for just 1 week before going to Parma, or should I roll and just get Parma? Son against Ipswich is a good bet. I mean, he's not going to be risked, I don't think, against Galatasaray. I don't believe they will do that. I don't think he'll play the full game, but if you get 70 minutes of Son against Ipswich, then it's probably worthwhile.
Yeah, buying Brennan instead from Jota or Bruno because I want to upgrade DCR and Isak, like James says on his stream. Yeah, that all sounds good. That all sounds good. I like that. For free, though. You don't want to be taking hits for those moves, but... ideally, guys, we shouldn't be taking many hits this season. We shouldn't need to. I have taken 2.
I think I've only taken 1. Dylan did, didn't he? So I've only taken 1.
Is Bruno really worth the price? Yeah, he's 8.2. He's had a few price drops. With the fixtures in mind, this is a pure fixtures play on Bruno. It's, just to reiterate, Leicester, Ipswich, Everton. They did just go and score 5 against Leicester under Van Nistelrooy. This isn't Ten Hag's United now. They attack a little bit more. Sean, thank you so much for your super chat. One of my channel members, Sean, who joined the other day. So good to see you on the Chasers as well. Dean, he wants your insight on Liverpool.
Yeah, I don't think they're being sold necessarily. Reason behind those signings and new contracts. I mean, there is obviously problems here. And Salah didn't help things, did he? Did you see his Instagram post?
I know.
At the weekend, like, whatever happens, I'll never forget this, or whatever he said.
He's already said he's going to leave, though, didn't he? For Sky Sports after game week 1. Like, he's dropping so many hints.
I think it's just frustration that nothing's actually happened.
Is it?
Yet. I'm told that no decision has actually been made on Salah. I think he does want to stay. Is he worth the financial commitment at this stage? I think they're trying to figure out what he's actually worth. Like, you barely see him for most of the game, then he comes up with these moments. So I think there's a big decision to make around Salah. I think the Liverpool are being built very carefully at the moment, and I think given the way that Slot has started this season so well, like such good consistency in terms of results, if not all the performances, that they will get back in. They're trying to figure out exactly where to spend next. I think it will probably be defence, if I'm honest. I mean, they're looking at another centre-back, they're looking at another left-back, and they also want a DM. So there's a lot going on at Liverpool, but much does hinge too on discovering Van Dijk, Trent, Salah, and what happens. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and thank you for the question as well about, all things football. Do use Dean, guys, as a resource for things outside of FPL. We are fortunate to have an award-winning journalist amongst us in Dean Jones. If you want to read more about Dean's football stories, check out his Give Me Sport. Almost daily articles, right?
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, I have to do about 5 or 6 a day. So, yeah, it's a daily job these days. British says we owe him 7 minutes stoppage time because we were late.
Were we 7 minutes late?
I can't believe we were 7 minutes late today.
No, I don't believe that. 7?
He obviously had a clock on us, mate.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, maybe.
I'll give you a
Do you know what? It says how long in our little StreamYard list.
Oh, it does, yeah.
It says 56:22. So, yeah, we were late, but not 7 minutes late by the looks of it. We'll go on till we get to 60. That was a very good shout. Keep your questions coming in, team. And we've gone way before Monday Night Football, so we're not missing the game as well.
Sure. Souček was ill at the weekend. That's why he didn't play. There's no problem there, apart from for West Ham, who do actually turn out need Thomas Souček.
Smith Rowe, I mean, I really like, but I'm just looking at the average position map the last few games, and Pereira is slightly more advanced than him. Like, if I'm looking at both, earlier in the season, it was like Smith Rowe off the number 9. Now Smith Rowe's playing a number 8, and it's not quite as attractive.
It's not as attractive, you're right. It's definitely not. Picking one of those, Rodrigo, I would personally go Larson, but that's because I'm scared of Raul stopping scoring, and I don't like Vista because he plays for Brentford.
FPL Yellow Army, keep it the great work. My question is, Cunha or Palmer? Wow. I'd captain. I mean, Cole Palmer is at home to Arsenal, but it is Arsenal. Cunha's got a great fixture, home to Southampton. They're both bold captain shouts.
They're both big armband shouts. Yeah, they really are.
Can you really captain someone against Arsenal? Cole Palmer's home form is insane.
At the moment, you can, yeah. I mean, Arsenal's season is on the verge of crumbling. I mean, it's a really interesting fixture, Chelsea against Arsenal, because Chelsea have not really been relevant in terms of title races for a few years now, and this is their chance to become relevant again. If you beat Arsenal at the weekend and inflict their 3rd defeat of the season, you're pretty much, as long as Liverpool and City pick up positive results ahead of them, you're pretty much ruling them out the title race. So,
yeah,
Cole Palmer Master Show.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I still prefer your Spurs player if you got one. Jonathan says prediction for tonight. Guys, let us all know your predictions for tonight. Give us a scoreline in the chat. Just put home team first and we'll flash up some scores on screen. So hit us with your score prediction in the chat. I'm going to play. I'm going to say it's going to be an absolute goal fest and it's going to be a Desmond Tutu in the chat. 2-3 says Mark. Revenant 4-4. Fulham 4-2 says Freddie. Sean 2. A lot of draws out there. Are you confident?
There'll be goals, I think. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how confident I am. Hate this fixture so much.
Yeah. I remember you coming back from it last year, being it. Brian and Burmo is bloody good.
Just hate it, man. It's just a hard one. But when we win it, it's the best fixture of the season. But sadly, Brentford became quite good at some point, and that made me not enjoy this so much, this rivalry.
Darrow, do not sell Spurs players. Sorry, Dean. I saw Solanke and Son. Do not sell Solanke and Son. They got Ipswich. I can't. Yeah, no.
No, don't do that. Keep or sell dividend. I mean, you can keep him because he's just a cheap player to have on your bench at the very least. At least he always plays. He shouldn't be your 7th attacker. He should be your 8th. If he's your 8th, you're fine. Konate or I mean, Konate's fine. He's trained today, apparently. So the arm incident, we thought it could be a broken arm. He's a lot cheaper. So, yeah. Guys, thank you all for your questions. Brentford will finally keep a clean sheet. I very much doubt it. They have not kept a clean sheet all season. Thank you so much, Shiraz, as well. I'm literally chasing green arrows this year because of you guys. Oh, mate, that is such a nice way to end the show. Thank you, Shiraz. Absolutely love that. We'll be back on Wednesday with Big Man. Me and Dean will be back on Friday as well. Make sure you're subbed to Chasing Green Arrows. If you're just tuning in, you've got 55 minutes till the football starts. This episode has been 59 minutes. You can pretty much catch the whole thing. Go back, watch the last hour, and we will see you on Wednesday. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.